I made a video a few days ago talking about the link between glyphosate and all of the fast food restaurants that we eat at, and basically how every single one of them has tested for levels of glyphosate, which is a carcinogen. This brings up a larger issue that is not just, okay, fast food restaurants are not good for us. We know they're not good for us. It's the question of how are these foods testing for high levels of what is a main ingredient in a weed killer. The highest testing foods were whole wheat and whole grain stuff. And looking further into what scientists believe is the connection with these is actually a few things. The first being that, which I did not know, that they actually use glyphosate to speed up the growth of crops. So they're using glyphosate to speed up the growth of crops, which is wild to me. The safe amount of glyphosate that's in our food is way too high, in my opinion, as we're now seeing how linked all of this is to cancer. But even the crops that they don't spray it on and the ones that they just spray it in between rows to control weeds, this is still leaching into the soil and the roots are still retaining that glyphosate. So the reason that we're seeing all of these fast food restaurants testing positive for glyphosate is literally starting at square one. It's starting with the way that the farming industry and agricultural industry is running, and the fact that we don't have enough safety regulations on our food, which we all knew that. But now to not even feel like you can trust the produce and vegetables that you're buying at the grocery store if you don't garden yourself, I think that is reason alone to start doing so to any capacity. The second reason is what I immediately went to, which is that genetically modified seeds are actually harmful for us. They are just being painted like they're not because it helps brands and companies like the Monsanto company keep this giant monopoly on the seed industry, where, for example, on soybeans, farmers can't even use the seeds that they get from the soybeans without getting hit with a potential massive fine or lawsuit that could put them out of business. And the way that we know that genetically modified seeds are actually harmful, they're just not being labeled as harmful to humans yet, are that we're seeing the results in animals that are being fed crops from genetically modified seeds. So animals that are being fed the food from genetically modified seeds are showing insane damage to their organs like kidneys and the liver. However, there has barely been any studies really linked to this because of how insane it would be if this is actually proven true through studying of animals, how it's affecting animals, and also just clinical trials of these things to prove that this is not safe for us to eat. It would basically take the entire industry down. At least that's how I look at it. But if you garden yourself, please do not buy genetically modified seeds to get stuff that is not GMO. Get organic seeds. It's more money. It's worth it. You do not know what you are consuming at this point. They are going to make it seem like none of these things are harmful for the sake of saving money. But when you think about these things, think about when smoking first started and how many decades it took for them to actually be forced to say cigarettes cause cancer, cigarettes are harmful for you. How long did that take? The same thing is going to apply to everything else, even in devastating circumstances like this one, where basically all of our food is being grown in soil that it is soaking up glyphosate or is being sprayed with glyphosate to speed up the mass production of these crops because we have so much waste, especially in America, when it comes to this type of thing. I went on for way too long. I should have split this up, but please talk about this. I think this is information people need to know. And if you're a gardener, I especially think you need to know, because if you're going to be going through the process of growing your own food anyways, you should at least make sure that you're not buying anything that could potentially be harmful to you.